The story began with the disappearance of some of my things and belongings, just me, such as clothes, the watch, and the rest of the house. No such phenomena happened to them that I did not pay attention to. Yes, I did not pay any attention to these phenomena until something very strange happened when my older sister went to check on the bird, or we put the chickens in a place designated for them near the stone fence of the garden of our house, and I found there some banknotes thrown next to the fence. This money had disappeared from the places where we used to put it. Before that incident, I used to see frightening nightmares in my dreams all the time, such as seeing things walking next to me on the bed. When I wake up, I see something coming towards me. I don't know what it is, but what I do know is that I felt afraid of this thing to the point that it drove me to scream out loud until everyone in the house woke up and rushed to help me. Then they started asking me what was going on, and I told them that it was coming to me. Then I went back to sleep, and when I woke up they tell what happened, but I do not remember anything about it. And I do not believe them, knowing that I live in an area that is considered a new city, which means that the place does not have a frightening past of accidents or anything else. One time we mentioned this matter to one of our relatives, so she advised us to bring a sheikh she knew and said that she would trust him and trust him. We did what she said and brought the sheikh. My mother and I met him, and he told us that someone had sprayed the house with water with magic applied to it, and this magic had affected some members of the house. After that, the sheikh asked to meet me and my sister, one after the other, and I was the first to meet her. He asked me to stand in front of him or make any movement, then he said something strange to me. He said to me, "If you feel that you are going to fall, do not be afraid." Then he asked my mother to stand directly behind me. After that, he started muttering some words while I was reciting some Quranic verses. After he finished muttering, he asked me, "Do you feel anything?" I answered him in the negative. He asked me to leave the room, and if I felt something urgent, tell him immediately. I did as he asked, and my mother and I left the room and left him there alone. Then suddenly we heard the voice of a small child. The sound was coming from the room in which that sheikh was alone. In fact, I did not show much interest in the matter and let him bring the water in which he claimed to be the cure. After a short while, I felt severe pain in my left arm. This was the first time I felt this pain. I rushed to the sheikh and told him about the pain that had befallen my arm. He told me magic had afflicted me, and he began to treat me by reading to me every day, but the pain did not leave me. One time, he asked me to uncover my arm so that he could write on it that I was cured, but I refused, so he left and never came back again. After that, I returned to the university, and the pain was getting worse. My school days passed, and in vacation, we traveled to spend some summer days in Safaga, and the day before the day we were going to travel, I woke up from my sleep to find a small child standing close to me. His skin was white and pale, like the dead. He was standing without moving, looking at me carefully, as if examining me. I quickly took my mobile phone and turned it on, so I could confirm what I was seeing, but the child had disappeared. I went back to sleep, and in the morning we traveled while we were on the road. The pain returned to me, but this time it was worse than before, until I cried from its intensity. When we arrived at the hotel, the pain had subsided, and I went to a room with me and a relative of mine who is younger than me. Only 2 years passed, and the days passed without anything noteworthy happening except for some voices that I used to hear, as if someone was calling for me, which I convinced myself were pure illusions and nothing more. We spent our summer vacation, and on our way back, my brother started telling us some scary things about the hotel we stayed in. He said that there was a woman killed in a street near the hotel. He also added that there were some strange incidents that had happened to him, and there is no room to mention them. Now I returned to our house and my condition was as it was before. We brought another sheikh to treat me, and when he arrived he followed the path of those before him. Rather, it was worse. I told him everything that happened to me, so he asked me to show him my room, so I showed it to him. Then he asked me to close my eyes and asked me whether I saw anything or not, and I answered him with nothing. He added, "Do you look in the mirror a lot because there is someone who loves you and he is from the other world, to be honest?" I agree with you in saying that his words were completely unconvincing and I did not believe him. But I said to him while I was faking interest, "And what next?" as if I expected what he would say next. He told me, "You need treatment sessions in which I can meet you alone." I answered him that his request was impossible to implement, and I told him that if he wanted to, he could treat me. Really, he should read to me in the presence of one of my family members. He replied to me, saying, "Then stay as you are. I could have made you know everything that is going on around you, and I would have given you a jinn from among me." So I told him that this is forbidden, and I do not accept such an offer. His response was as follows, "Whoever said that it is forbidden in general, as you wish." After that, we left without returning. My mother met a man who lives in the neighboring house. We heard that he keeps company with the jinn. He had known about my condition, so he asked my mother to ask me some questions, which were, are strange or unnatural things happening to me, and do I feel that someone was sleeping next to me? And when I told him that none of this was happening to her, he told her that she was fine.